Greetings, Aquarians. Welcome back to Anarchast, your home for anarchy on the internet. I will be Patrick Smith. Today I have Matt, who spoke on the main stage recently here at Anarchapulco about crypto. Can you tell us what your topic of your talk was about?
It was about how to thrive with crypto in the Aquarian age.
What do you mean by thrive?
So right now there's a lot of confusion around crypto. What is it? Where's the context? How do I use it? And then which cryptos do I use? So we covered why I believe that blockchain tech is the technology for this Aquarian age. It's going to transform the world. And then we talk about which cryptos you should be focused on out of 10,000 plus coins.
Okay. Teach me. Which one should I be using?
Well, I mean, ironically enough, Raphael was just here, the Crypto Vigilante. We were just watching, and yeah, I mean, BSV is where it's at right now. That's the cutting edge innovation in blockchain tech. And ironically, we're going backwards, which is forwards. Like, Bitcoin's been around since 2009, but nobody really has known what it's capable of until now. So that's what I recommend. But I also spoke about the solar punk and lunar punk worldview, how there's a need for privacy coins like Monero, Pirate Chain, Dero, and there's a great need for transparency coins like Bitcoin.
Why is there a great need for transparency coins? Why can't we just do it with Monero?
That's a great question. Well, if you look at the idea of, like, why do we need these? Well, you as a person probably have a public life and you've got a private life. And I agree that privacy coins come in handy for things you don't want to be shared publicly. Your transactions, what you're buying, how much crypto you have. And that's available with Bitcoin. So that's really helpful for big governments, big corporations, the whole post-corporate world, Web 2 world. We can audit them.
Why would we want any of that?
Exactly. Well, so for me,
we could audit them. Like if they had a Monero wallet, we get their view key, and we can do the audit on the people that we need to be able to audit.
That's true.
Fine, and still have privacy.
That's true.
So make the case for the public chain.
Yeah, totally. I guess the best case is like what I'm doing. I'm an artist, a musician, and I've got artwork, music. I've got a book, like a whole bunch of stuff going on that I want the world to be able to see. And as that gets out to the world, I want them to see how much it's growing. So that's my public life that I want to share transparently on the blockchain. And my personal transactions between my family, friends, etc., that should be private. So for me, that's the use case there. When I mint my NFTs on Bitcoin, I want to see that like thousands are being sold and like how much proof of work I'm actually generating on the blockchain.
What kinds of NFTs do you mint?
So
sorry about the baby, folks. We're in a public place. It happens.
That's right. So ironically enough, I've struggled the past 3 years or so figuring out which NFT platform I should use, right? Like Ethereum, there's OpenSea, there's Rarible, there's all kinds of different platforms, and none of them resonated with me, so I just never minted NFTs. And I waited, and then time after time, my third Anarchapulco now, just getting tight with Raph and TCV and the guys here and, learning the ropes, I found Bitcoin is the platform that resonates with me that I want to mint on. So now...
See, but when you guys say Bitcoin, you're talking about BSV, right?
Yes, it's an important distinction.
I don't think most people catch the subtext of what you guys are doing when you say you're using Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You're using BSV Bitcoin.
It's true, yeah, BSV, Satoshi's vision.
Yeah, not to be like... I'm not trying to be cantankerous or whatever. It's just to unconfuse people.
For sure. I mean, because like when Raph is talking about Bitcoin, he just says Bitcoin. And knowing him, you'd have to know him to know that he's talking about BSV because he's just already there.
Right.
So the clarification is important, although we just discovered BTC, NFTs on BTC. That's unfolding before our eyes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Googling it as soon as I'm done with my interviews.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so it's happening. But as Raph said, that's him and his guys basically trying to clog the network and reveal the big blocker mindset.
It was hilarious. I mean, it's an excellent strategy if you can actually put the funds together to actually. He doesn't want to say DDoS, but that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
if you can actually put the funds together to do that, it's like a brilliant strategy to reveal the dumbassery that I think was involved in keeping their block size small. Mm-hmm. I called that back when it happened, and I'm not even like a full-time crypto analyst or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just a tech guy. Okay, so. Now let's talk about NFTs. So from my perspective, NFTs were this weird kitschy fad that popped up a couple years ago, made a very small number of people a retarded amount of money, and then the world kind of caught on, okay, this is kind of scammy. It's right-click save as your JPEGs, and all of the like high lofty things that I was thinking about, could have been a future permutation of NFTs, like blockchaining your property title, things like that, like serious stuff. Never really came about in any way. I have to limit what I can say for contractual obligations, but I was approached by one guy that wanted me to help him dev a blockchain to take over title for all automobiles in the United States. And I was getting really excited by that until I realized that, of course, the government wants a full backdoor capability to just move shit around and reassign ownership whenever they want according to their rules. I'm like, then why are you blockchaining it? You're defeating the whole purpose. Anyway, so long story short, what's up with NFTs and why should anybody trust or care about them now?
Yeah, I totally agree. The hype was off the charts, and those guys that made off good, not doing too well now, for the most part. The thing with NFTs is you have to break down like what it means, right? It's a non-fungible token. So exploring the concept of fungibility, there's different elements like scarcity, has to be transportable, divisible, it has to be, you have to be able to reproduce it or not, right? It's like it has to have that element in it. So much of life that's valuable is non-fungible. Like you and I as human beings, there's only one of us. There's only one of that house or that car that you were trying to NFT. And there's only one of my records and my artwork and my book, So NFTs allow, whatever number you set amount of people to own that scarce thing that is non-fungible in a way that is now tokenized on the blockchain. And that's how you transact it.
I'm going to push back because I study a lot of philosophy, especially the philosophy of property ownership and the libertarian ethos. And the words you use, and the words a lot of people use in cryptocurrency, ownership, scarcity, these are false. They do not apply to cryptocurrency. It's not actual scarcity qua property. It's scarcity within the protocol of the blockchain. And it's not property because it's not scarce and rivalrous. It's like a value transfer network.
Yeah.
So and again, you also have the obvious like right click save as. So even if you put your album NFT out there, I mean your album still gets distributed.
Yeah.
So what good is the NFT?
It's a great question, and that's what we're still working out. But I think the best thing about it is it takes you outside of like the fiat economy. So like what we're pioneering is the new Bitcoin economy. A world where, like Raph said, you don't have to buy Bitcoin to participate. You just sharing your art allows you to earn Satoshis. So the worldview is shifting. What is value? It's how many Satoshis do you have? It's in your control, I would say, because you don't really own it, right? But you can transfer that energy. You can transfer that value. Energy
or value is a much better way of talking about it.
It is. Yeah. I totally agree. So that's an important distinction that you made. Yeah. But it's exciting. I mean, I basically going under Raph's wing, and I've teamed up with his Bitcoin developers, BSV, to devs who are among their OG Bitcoiners. They understand the technology, and we're going to start building things out on my platform, ageofaquarius.org.
What's Age of Aquarius? And prepare to be challenged.
Okay, yeah, for sure. It's a good question. So there's a lot of different astrological charting methods and ways to view time in reference to humanity. And there's the yugas, the ages. There's 4 different ages with the Eastern way of charting it. And then there's the tropical version of like every 2,000 to 2,160 years, humanity enters a new age, which is based on one of the 12 zodiac signs. So we have just come out of the age of Pisces, and now we've shifted into the age of Aquarius. And the difference is that Pisces is a water sign, Aquarius is an air sign. And the two are completely different. All the characteristics about those elements will change human behavior and the creations that we do and the thought, where thought goes. So I believe blockchain is the technology that's meant to transform the world for the next few thousand years. And it's really just getting started now.
Did you see my talk? And no shame if you didn't.
I wanted to. I had it in my schedule, but yeah, it's been crazy vending.
One of my hottest takes in the talk, especially for this audience, no offense, is that so our brains, the human species, is a pattern-finding machine. Maybe even that's our primary function. our prime advantage is that we can recognize patterns and make future predictions and adjust our behavior according to our predictions based on those patterns.
Yeah.
And everything else, the life support, our feelings just provide motivation to act on the patterns that we recognize and all this stuff. But patterns are merely that. They're things that we project onto data points, onto sense data that we take in. The patterns don't exist. And so the hot take from stage was the constellations aren't real.
Right.
It's things that we project onto data points in reality. Mm-hmm. And then we try and extrapolate from those data points and from those projected future predictions. We try and correlate that to things that happen in the world.
Yeah.
And then we try to use those correlations to make future predictions and change our behavior. And that's basically astrology.
Yeah.
So I would say that all of that is sort of baseless and not real.
Yeah.
And if we're kind of projecting these patterns that our brains are bubbling up onto a random spattering of stars. Like if we took somebody else and we said, look at the stars and tell me what shapes you see, mm-hmm. they would almost definitely not come away with the constellations. They would come up with some other set of things. And if we told you to look at the clouds and me to look at the clouds, we would pick out different animals or hearts or shapes or whatever, right? So how do you find meaning in that?
Well, I think it's extremely valuable because there's no concrete way of looking at anything. So you have to consider all sides, and that's an extremely valid side to consider. And, when I look back to the Mayans and the ancients who have been studying astrology and there's those patterns continue to repeat, I mean, I have to give that some merit too. But at the same time, to expect that you know it all or know everything, even me, is kind of just an ego construct that is limiting in itself. So it is a belief, so... Yeah, there's validity to it for sure.
I'm just asking, what gives you faith? Is it faith? What, when you talk about the age of Aquarius, you're referring to an astrological constellation, mm-hmm. right? Which is sort of arbitrarily made up by whoever did it first. I don't know. You can probably tell me more than I know, right? You probably know more about this than me. From how do you get from a place of just not knowing anything about it to believing that has some effect or predictive quality on the world?
Absolutely. It does come down to faith. And I think I may have shared that from the stage. I wanted to, but much like your belief in God is based on your faith, your belief that we're in this Aquarian age is based on your faith. Do you resonate with the air element and the things that are happening, the societal changes, and what you're personally experiencing? And for me, I did share this from the stage, is that in leading up to 2012, which was the Mayan end of times date, which really meant end of an age, my girlfriend went missing. It was a whole debacle. It was awful, to be honest. And she was finally found 5 days later while I was just harassed by the media. And
is everything okay?
Yeah, I mean, she's gone now.
Okay.
But
gone, or just not with you?
No, she passed away, and
no.
To this day, I still really don't.
From whatever happened?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it was a suicide, death by drowning.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thanks, man. I was for being age 19, it was a lot to go through, dealing with forensics, being interrogated, search dogs, helicopters with heat-seeking radars. I mean, the whole deal. It was out of a movie. So. She was an Aquarius, born in February, and over time, life events started happening that have drawn me to this idea, this pattern, so to speak. I made an entirely custom drum set as a musician. It was a dream of mine, but I did it in her name, and I took a lot of the artwork that she made. It's all wood burned by hand and hand painted on these drums, and it's neat. I don't know if you're going to put videos in here or photos in here. I could send you a photo, but the floor tom goes from the ocean all the way up to space and the cosmos, and in the top.
You're a drummer.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh man, yeah. I had a feeling, man. I bet you can crush some drums. So in the top is the Aquarius constellation, because she was, and the Libra, because I'm a Libra. And believe it or not, the floor tom has a pirate ship with an angel, who was Sarah, blowing wind into the sails of the ship. And in the ship flags is the Libra sign, another air sign. Right, and since then, I mean, we're looking like I bought ageofaquarius.org on Namecheap with Bitcoin, BTC, in 2019. And that's when it hit me someone needs to take responsibility for this. The .com, the .net, the .org was available. The .org was the cheapest, it's what I could afford, and I actually liked it more. So I started taking more responsibility for this topic because no one is. You're not going to see the United Nations or the World Economic Forum or any of these entities declare that, hey, we've entered a new age, yet it's decoded on all of their work. So I shared this in talk. If you look on the backside of the dollar bill with the pyramid, there's Latin underneath that says Novus Ordo Seclorum, which means New Order of the Ages. What else could they be talking about? And then on the top, I don't remember what that Latin says, but it means He, God, has approved our undertakings. So there's something great at play. We don't have all the answers, and we can't expect to, but synchronicities for me are just out of this world, man. And I'm just running with this platform. We have a whole forum community that is decentralized in a way for free speech. And working with Raf and being part of TCV has helped me to realize that I'm here to show the world how to use Bitcoin through this platform. So working with his devs, we're going to start building the processes on the site for these forum members to mint their own NFTs, to buy NFTs.
What do you know about Dero?
Dero it's awesome. It's not my favorite project, to be totally honest. It's definitely worth a trade. And the reason being is because I was in the room with Raf and a couple of guys for this Cambrian SV event in Costa Rica last September. And it's a BSV focused building workshop event, probably 20 people there, some of the brightest minds in Bitcoin, all big blockers, And what happened was this guy Xiaowei Liu comes in.
It's so weird that this weird drama thing that happened 5 years ago, or however many years ago it was on Bitcoin, has now bifurcated the whole populace into big and small blockers.
I know.
And it's like this adjective that we all have now. It's weird. Sorry,
I know.
Go ahead.
I know. It's a reflection of your worldview, because limiting beliefs don't serve anyone, much less yourself. So a big blocker view means, well, we want to do more with the computational power of Bitcoin. I mean, there's a lot going into these miners, And now with fusion energy being on the scene, the concern about it's using too much energy is kind of taking a back seat. And we need to figure out how to do more with the energy that we're putting through. Every block that's mined should be doing as much as possible, be doing the most. And so
that was my argument years ago.
Exactly. I'm
they were
thrilled.
concerned. What was the counter argument? They were concerned with storage and decentralization. Like if everybody couldn't run a full node because they couldn't buy 17 terabytes of hard drive space, then the decentralization would go down. Was that the counter argument?
It could be.
Because that feels really weak. I want to make sure I'm not straw manning them, but that
Yeah, I actually got into Bitcoin in 2017, crypto in general, so I missed that side of I was kind of on the tail end of the hash war, this Bitcoin civil war.
Yeah.
So it's really Raf that's been really pioneering it, and he's playing with the technology now in a way that he's seeing that, yes, our convictions have been true this whole time, now that we're using it for what it's supposed to be used for.
An image gallery.
Yeah. Hey, it might start there, but again, the big blocker view is it's less limiting beliefs, so who knows where it could go.
You won't get any of these jokes unless you've seen the Raf interview first, so make sure you go watch that, and then now you'll find this funny. Yeah, that's good.
100%, but this I have to share. So in Costa Rica, Xiaowei Liu, his site is script.io. He walks in the room for the first time ever.
Say it again,
Script, so which is the native programming language for Bitcoin, original by design.
Yeah, for people, I just want to make sure they can hear it.
.io, yes.
So SCRYPT.
Yes, exactly. So he walks in the room, does a 2-day presentation about how he figured out how to do zero knowledge on BSV. So now I've already been in talks with him, hey man, I got these ideas, you want to help me build this? He's I support it. I'm you're my dude, because now I'm on a mission to mint one of the first privacy tokens on BSV, because obviously I'm a huge Pirate Chain fan. I've been traveling around the world doing events with them. I threw my first festival last year, right before I think Anarchast, the last one, powered by Pirate Chain.
Nice.
Yeah, right in the heart of downtown Orlando at the Walt Disney Amphitheater.
Cool.
So we were sharing the.
How did it go?
Well, the turnout was less then, so we're kind of.
Well, it's your first one. They don't usually start big.
I know, but it was expensive.
How old are you?
And 32.
Okay.
My Masonic puberty is next October.
What does that mean?
33.
What you said Masonic puberty.
Yeah, it's when I really grow up.
Two words I've never heard together.
I know. What
is that?
It's my inside joke because
okay.
a lot of the esoteric knowledge that I've gained was through fucking hard work and suffering. Everything that happened with Sarah, it's led me to these universal truths and living with natural law and playing with it. And I didn't have to join a cult to learn this stuff. And I think it's great. We have a community with with ageofaquarius.org, and I've got this book, a 66-page guidebook to help folks who are awakening to formulate that worldview and then move on, and okay, what can you do now with your mind, body, spirit, your passions, your purpose, and with blockchain technology?
How are you going to combine spirit with blockchain?
Bitcoin and blockchain
and what does that even mean?
It's a very spiritual thing.
How?
Oh man, like a lot of these OG Bitcoiners, like their belief in Bitcoin is like belief in God, and they believe that it's a divine creation from source, and I feel the same way. Because all of the Piscean programs and systems that are tyrannical.
That comes off culty, man. It's like it's a really badass technology. Like, isn't that
that's
enough?
What it is. I mean, it's enough for me, but I mean,
like it's a world-changing technology.
Yeah.
Can we stop there?
For all practical uses, we should. But spirit is it's the great mystery. What are we? Why are we here? And there's been a lot of attempts to discern that. To decode it through all the religious doctrines throughout the world. And when you start decoding them, especially the Bible, it's based on astrology. Those patterns, whether they're real or not, it's based on these things, Like Jesus walking on water is actually, if you were to watch the sun set or rise even, how there's like this ray of light that comes towards you?
On the water.
Yeah, so the sun of God, so the sun, the reflection, the sun is on the water. Same idea. And then this isn't in the Bible, but the painting that Da Vinci did of the Last Supper, right? He's got his disciples by him, and each one of those, 12 of them, is an astrological sign. And it goes in the order of the chart. So the Pisces is actually next to the Aquarius, and it works backwards. So we've been in Pisces going backwards to Aquarius.
Are there 12 signs? Is that what you're
12 signs, yeah. And
see, this is that pattern matching thing.
I know.
We match too many patterns.
I know, but
just because you see a match between 12 of this and 12 of that means nothing. Where do you need more evidence to draw like a connection between, there's 12 of that and 12 of that.
I completely agree.
Right?
And that's where gematria, numerology, like the study of numbers is so relevant. Like the big crash that, to be honest, TDV called it, like the first week of November, could have been the bottom with the FTX debacle. That was on a blood moon. I think it was a solar eclipse. It was like a fucking peak energetic time in the world. Like, as above, so below. So we felt it. And that's just when the string that broke the camel's back dropped the FTX, whether that was coordinated or not. It happened on an astrological time. So the elite, they use astrology for all their plans. Like the dollar collapse, the more I think about it, it's not going to just happen. We're all like, when is it going to happen? But, I mean, they know when it's going to happen. And I guarantee it's based around something with astrology.
Isn't every day in some way linked to something astrological?
100%, yeah. I mean,
so then what's your null hypothesis? No matter what they do, it's going to be on a day when...
Well, sometimes they're more potent than others. So to wrap up an earlier thought, like...
Yeah, sorry, I derailed you.
No, you're good,
17 times.
Thankfully, I can keep my thought going, but... So 2012, like when
I'm turning your head into an image gallery. Like,
I know.
Like what they're doing to Bitcoin.
I'm seeing the memes, the NFTs. So leading up to 2012, the Great Mayan date, a shout out to Mexico. We're here. And it's very sacred to me. That was a very energetic time, and it showed in my life in a big way. That's when the whole thing came to a head, and she left the planet, and my real awakening began. 8 years later was 2020. And there was a astrological phenomenon that happens not often at all. I forget the number, but it's the Great Conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. And that occurred on the winter solstice, December 21st, 2020, and at 0 degrees in the chart of the sign of Aquarius. So my speculation is that this 8-year window from 2012 to 2020 was this sign of completion. If you look at the infinity sign, which is like an 8, it's like 8 years is this time of, in a cosmic sense, relatively might be like a flash, or a blink of an eye, but to us humans, it was 8 years. So I think that we're fully in the air age now, and that hyper-Bitcoinization and crypto is ready to take off. It's ready to be understood and applied so that we can, make these Piscean systems obsolete.
You said air age?
Air age, oh yeah.
I thought it was Aquarian.
So Aquarius is the water bearer. It's depicted as a man, which is important, distinction. A man holding a vase, if you will, pouring water out. This is, my mom painted that.
Okay.
Call it the water bearer, you guys here. So most people, when they think of Aquarius, think aqua, they think of that, and they think water, but Pisces is the fish sign, it's like that's the water age, you know. And there's a huge distinction between, and there's a mantra that comes up. It's I think is the age of Pisces, and now the age of Aquarius is I know. And it's this information age of knowledge. And now we have the technology and AI and robotics and all these things that can help us access our humanity and ascend to higher levels of consciousness that really dig into spirituality and purpose a bit more.
What do you think about artificial intelligence and how it's currently being used, and do you have any predictions?
Yeah, I mean, I study David Icke's work a lot, and he speaks about the archons, which are obviously not human. But I think they probably tap into that intelligence, which is non-human, which is more on the artificial side. And I think it's just a duality of the real. So you got the real and the fake, so it's always going to exist. But this age is about self-responsibility. You know, which fire do you choose to fuel? And if you need to fuel self-responsibility, or you'll get wiped out. And I do believe, I don't know if you call it this take, but I told the audience that many haven't made the connection that in 2020, just after the Great Conjunction, what did we have? We had a big, pandemic, and it was a virus that was in the air. Oh no, it's in the air. Cover your face. Don't sneeze. Wear a mask. And there's that pattern of correlation. So what did that do? It stopped people from coming together and conjugating and discussing what's happening, how they're feeling, what they're going through. But they had an opportunity to go within, do some research on the internet, and see, whoa, this is kind of distracting from like all the amazing stuff that's happening right now, the way the world is changing, the technology, like the access to information. So that was a test. I would consider it a rite of passage very much. It was an air virus to test people to realize if we're in an air age.
All right. Well, I will give you the last word. Would you like to send people somewhere to check your work out?
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, thanks, Patrick.
To the Anarchast audience of badasses?
Well, I'm definitely thankful for your work. Ever since Jeff passed the torch to you, I've been very happy with the interviews you've done. You've been cranking them out, man.
Yeah, especially lately. Thank you.
It's hard work. I mean, even this is hard work. We had to make time to be here. I very much appreciate your time.
No worries.
So shout out to you guys. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Anarchast, absolutely do it now. And also the alternative mediums, right? Because a lot of the YouTube stuff gets censored. So definitely check those out. But what I'll leave you guys with is this book. It's the first printed run of them. I brought them here for Anarchapulco. We're doing signed copies. But if you want this now, if you want access to this information, you can go to ageofaquarius.org and just enter your name, email, create a username for the forum, and it's yours. And you'll be on the cutting edge of blockchain, and you'll have all the support I think you would need for your awakening.
All right. I'll try and get links to those in the description when this video goes live for you guys. So if you'll, shoot those to me on Telegram or something like that, I'll get them in there.
Definitely, man. And this is a gift for you. I'm going to sign this and give you a book.
Oh, nice. All right.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate your time.
All right.
Big
Cool,
time.
guys. Everybody, thanks for watching. We have a couple more coming up here on location, and then I'm heading back to Dallas to go to sleep for a week. So peace, love, and anarchy.
Anarchy, yes.
See, when I do interviews here, people say it with me, and it's so much better than when I do them online. That's
I know.